There are quite a few factors that went into me deciding to go with Wimba. One of the biggest things was I've actually been looking for this type of scanning technology for orthotics for, I would say, about a year maybe. And it wasn't me that came up with this. Actually, I had a patient who was not a casting candidate. We truly weren't sure if they were a good orthotic candidate in general, just with some behavioral things too. But we knew there was no way that this sweetheart was going to let us have a good casting session that was going to create an orthotic that's custom and correct for her shape, because it just wasn't going to happen with a cast. But actually, her dad works in technology and has a lot of great ideas. And so I always love listening to parents, of course. And he asked, well, there's so much technology with phones now. Why can't we just scan her leg and send that? That's what they're doing with the cast anyways, is scanning the cast to create a model. So it's almost there with the traditional approach with the casting, but why not go a step further and just scan the dog's leg instead of a cast? And I didn't have an answer for him. I did reach out to one of the most well-known, respected orthotic companies in America, and brought this question up to them, just wondering, like, maybe if they're in the future going to be working towards this, or kind of how soon, because she a senior dog, and I just wanted to know realistically, like, is this in the works in the timeline for her, or is this something that we don't really have access to even long term? And their answer was, no, we are good with our process. And we're not looking to change it. And so I was, disappointed, but I put it to the side. That was the answer. And then I actually came across, it was actually a video from Resurgence, who's done an interview before me. They were the first in America. And I saw their video with the scan. And they didn't have the orthotic yet. I just saw the scan and went, that is what he was talking about. That's what that pet parent was talking about, I think. And so that's when I looked into it. And it was really that scanning technology, the ability to take the casting out of the equation, that was the primary factor that influenced me reaching this decision to go with Wimba. There are other factors for sure, and some other questions I think we'll probably get to it. But some main points to bring up is I was invited to get on a call with one of the co-founders, and the conversation I had with him was incredible. Answered all my questions. Such a great experience to get to kind of see behind the scenes of someone who has the vision, who is looking towards the future for pet mobility, and pick his brain on what is he trying to achieve out of this. And so when I had such a great conversation with him and saw that his vision aligned with mine, that was a huge turning point in deciding to move forward with this big move, incorporating Wimba into my practice. Another thing was when he talked about the track record. Then by that, I mean the track record of not needing to always adjust or almost at all do adjustments on their orthotics. For me, especially as someone who has a tripod, who deals with very, sometimes emotional dogs through my behavior training, sometimes getting a device that doesn't fit right the first time is okay, and we can just adjust it, and then we'll try it again. And it takes time, and it is a process. But I was just told by, again, the leading orthotic company in America that's just how it is. You're always gonna have to have an adjustment. Just expect it. And so when I was on the phone call with this co-founder, and he I asked the question, okay, well, how does the adjustment process work? If it doesn't fit the first time, what then do we do? And he was kind of like, no, it fits. And so that was huge to me, because that was actually a main issue that I had with the other type of system is, we just need to progress beyond that. I'm okay with certain things needing adjustments. This is custom. It's going to have tweaks and things. But I am tired of the expectation of, well, this is just the way things are, and there is no progress, and this is just how it will be. And so when I heard that there is a possibility that there are orthotics being made that pretty much never have to be sent back and adjusted, that was, I guess, probably the third major factor that led me to go forward with Wimba. I'm going to try to stay on topic and start with my practice first, but it does have a very personal component to it also, in how it has helped. So one, in my practice, it helps because I'm a mobile clinic, actually. I do rent space, but I mostly am mobile, and I don't have an assistant or technician that comes to me. And I have been able to successfully do a casting for an orthotic with an incredible pet parent and an amazing dog who did work through cooperative care and training to stay still and lateral through the whole casting process. However, having help is often required for most casting situations for orthotics. And Wimba, especially with that scan, makes it to where I can take this into someone's home. It takes up the amount of space that I would basically need for massage, mostly. It just doesn't take up much space. It's easy to transport. It's not heavy. It's not gross. Like, you don't have to worry about being at someone's house and then getting any casting, material or anything spilling at someone's house. So that's a huge part for mobile practitioners, to be able to do this at people's homes without an extra assistant, if that's what you need. It also really does broaden what we consider a potential candidate for a custom orthotic, just opened basically with this technology, because some patients were not candidates just because of the casting process. So that's a huge part of it, is that it does broaden that and open that up as an opportunity for dogs that need it. For me personally, my dog was one of those who we had casted, and we did some stuff. It's a stifle that we are working on, so not to confuse you. We don't yet have another option, but initially that's the way we went, and we worked really hard with cooperative care for that, and it was a process. And I did have another professional come and assist, and don't want to focus on that, but that didn't work out. And so while we were trying to send it back and deal with all of that process, she ended up needing bilateral carpal orthotics. But I honestly thought that it wasn't possible, because she was no longer, after that one experience, she was no longer an orthotic candidate due to casting. So I actually had put it out of my mind. We had tried the neoprene wraps that are out there to assist her, but those, I don't know if you know, but the neoprene wraps make it to where they can't move their normal flexion. So yes, it helps with hyperextension, but then they can't have their typical flexion angle, and that annoyed my dog. So when I did find Wimba, And having that option to just scan her, it has changed, so much in my life, honestly, already, in her life. We got the mat, and we got the sleeves, and we started with cooperative care to the point where by the time we did her scan, she honestly just thought it was a progression of the game that we'd already been playing. We called it, we'd get the Wimba stuff out and, say things like it's Wimba time. And, she started knowing that Wimba time meant good things. And, of course, then once we got the orthotics, we've just progressed that to when we get the orthotic out, it's Wimba time. So making it a lot easier to make this process a game is a very important thing to me, with my training background, my cooperative care background. And so being able to bring that to my own dog who needed it critically. And sometimes we miss how much our own dogs are struggling, until they get the support that they need. And that is truly what happened with Kalina. Is I put these orthotics on her, and her personality very quickly went back closer to the more confident, happy dog that she was before all of this. And she still has high-end issues. We're still working on everything, and she has a lot of rehab ahead of her. But for that support of her carpus bilaterally to give her the confidence she needed to be ready for this next phase in our rehab program, is something that I will always be thankful for Wimba for. To honestly, reach out to me when I had kind of been interested, and to push this forward and make me see that, it is possible. My dog could have carpal orthotics, custom made. I just needed to open my mind outside of the casting world again and believe that there is another option out there. And there is, and I'm really thankful for it. I'm really thankful that Wimba has created an orthotic that is in a price range where I can have it at a reduced cost for my clients that are already seeing me, but do need an orthotic. I can get them something that is helpful at a lower cost. But then for those who would like to refer, I now can accept referrals for the Wimba orthotics that are out, because I can build them a program that is the same as the cost of other orthotics on the market, but they get the care that they need through seeing me, through the progression, through making sure it fits right, making sure that we are doing some exercises to at least get the dog's gait back to normal with this orthotic on it. Is it integrated? Do we have check-ins? All of that's very important to me, and I think it's important to a lot of general practice veterinarians. And again, why we, as I was past general practice veterinarian, couldn't really recommend orthotics as regularly, because we just didn't have the time, the ability to do those steps, and knew that it's important to help a dog integrate into their orthotic. But it just wasn't something that a general practice is always set up to accommodate. And then again, with the cost, referring to a rehabilitation facility, when you know that they need at least basic integration with a rehab therapist, but they can't afford it in addition to the high cost of the orthotic, really put a limit on, again, what patient is a good candidate. And so, again, just Wimba opening up the opportunity for orthotics for dogs in America is what I'm really excited to share, and what is definitely changing my practice. I would say pretty confidently, I think that Wimba technology is the next obvious step in veterinary orthotics. and prosthetics. It is. It makes sense from a veterinary side, a behavioral side. All of this just is so exciting. But I think that when it comes to the technology and we're looking for best practice and we're looking for the future of mobility for dogs, and realizing now more than ever that mental strain on dogs during certain processes in veterinary medicine causes long-term side effects for some dogs, physiological long-term concerns based on something like a casting that is stressful for the dog, but the dog may not be the kind that tells the parent or the veterinarian they're the kind of dog that holds it in. And they're still over anxiety threshold, but they're just staying still for the amount of time that it takes for the casting, which is a process. And so if we're going to take into consideration what's best for the animals in our care, then I think that Wimba technology still has some progress, because we still need to get the kitties and everything, in my opinion, taken care of. But we are starting with dogs, and I'm okay with that. But I'm excited to see how this technology progresses, because I do strongly believe that the Wimba scan, the Wimba orthotics, are the next stage in veterinary orthotics. And I'm just really excited to be part of the process, and happy to help in any way to progress veterinary medicine when it comes to the care of animals and their mobility. I would definitely say that if you are looking for an orthotic company that cares and that is on the cutting edge and that is looking to the future for our animals, then you're looking for Wimba. I have been thrilled with my interactions, with my questions being answered. I am not sure why, if you are into helping animals through orthotics and prosthetics, why you wouldn't join forces with Wimba, because they are doing amazing things. And honestly, it's just, I am so thrilled to be able to bring this to my community. I'm thrilled, obviously, as I've mentioned, with the help that it's already brought to my family. And I could not be more thrilled to be part, very small part, but be a little piece of this orthotic revolution that we're really part of, and that we're creating through focusing on what dogs need, both physically and mentally, by offering a scan option instead of a casting option. I've really been thankful for the whole Wimba team. I get to talk with mostly a veterinarian. We correspond via email. Yes, they are far away currently, but they are still incredible and very responsive. And it actually works out great, because timing wise, I wake up in the morning and there's usually an email response waiting for me, and I can type back. And then, maybe they are able to get back to me. Maybe I wait till the next day. But it's very quick response time. Especially considering the overseas situation. It's like you wouldn't even think that it's far away. The way that I'm getting constant communication, they're asking how things are going, they're listening to my concerns and questions. I feel not only like they care about my patient, but they care about myself, my time as a veterinarian, my thoughts as a veterinarian. I feel respected. I feel like if I have an idea or I have a thought or, a question that may seem like not the easiest to answer, I always get a helpful response. And whether the veterinarian I talk to takes it to the whole team and discusses it with them and then gets back with me, I get to have that point of contact so that, one, I'm not getting kind of like lost in the whole team and different people trying to respond to me. I have my point of contact, and we get to sort things out, and she gets to take it to the team and be discussed and bring it back to me. So that's really helpful for me on my timeline and not getting mixed up with things, because I really don't have the ability to kind of sit and talk back and forth with a billion different people. I have my helpful person, and she's great. And like I've mentioned, I've gotten to talk with multiple different people from Wimba, and have always had a great correspondence. I really just appreciate everything that they're doing, and it seems like a really positive place to be and innovate. I actually just recently sent a question over there with an idea based on my long-haired dog situation. And instead of getting a no, we don't do that, so we're not going to do that, I got a interesting thought. I'm going to take it to the team. And really, as a veterinarian, that's all I'm asking for. I'm not asking someone to, change their whole business structure or create a product that they're not interested in, but being considered, being listened to, and getting thoughtful, caring responses is something that I've really enjoyed working with Wimba extra because of that.